Hello everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
I'm Chickling.
And I am not itchy.
Me either.
I got the sofa, I brought it home, I covered it in shampoo, I washed the heck out of it, I got rid of all those French fleas from my old sofa.
You're going to harm the leather if you use shampoo.
No, it's terrible, isn't it? Well, luckily, I haven't actually visited a flea market in a long time, and I don't know if I would buy furniture at a flea market, partly because of the whole flea thing. You know, and I think if you're buying furniture, like a sofa or something, you might want to get something a little new. But I guess if it was wooden, I would feel safer, like a dining room table. That might be okay, but definitely don't buy a mattress at a flea market.
Please don't
for
do
your bed.
that. You don't know who your previous owners were.
Yeah, that's something you want to get new. But when we're talking about clothes, when we're talking about collectible things like books or toys or records or accessories, jewelry, you know, old jewelry can be beautiful. You can visit a flea market. Yesterday, we learned about some of the history of flea markets. And yes, back in the early days, they did come with fleas, the actual little jumping, biting insects. But these days, they just come with great bargains for wonderful old treasures. And today, we're actually going to learn about a flea market here in Taiwan that people can visit. I didn't know about this place. I remember going to the Jade Market, you know, the Jianguo. On the weekend. They have and I didn't know this, but when I went there, they actually kind of have a bit of a flea market there.
Oh, really? Oh, you mean the flower market?
Next to the flower market, right where they sell the jade, but there's a few other people selling like old jewelry. And I found a cool spy camera, like that tiny little camera that James Bond uses in the old pictures, in the old movies. And I was going to buy it, but then I thought, because it looked so cool, and then I thought, where am I going to get film to put in the camera? It would have been a cool thing to collect and just, you know, keep on a shelf in my home. And that's the kind of treasure you can find at flea markets. So if this article has gotten you a little bit interested in it, we're going to give you some ideas about where to go to check out a flea market and maybe bring home some great bargains. So let's read on and find out.
Reading. Want a bargain? Visit a flea market. So now you're interested in getting a great deal at a flea market. But where can you find such a place? Well, if you have the opportunity to travel, there are some huge ones across the globe. For example, Brimfield Flea Market in Massachusetts, US, is a huge outdoor antiques flea market. For those of you who want something a little more European, try Lille in France. The annual Grande Braderie de Lille is Europe's largest flea market, with over 10,000 sellers and almost 2 million visitors each year. It's plenty big enough to find anything. For some local savings, New Taipei's Fuhe Bridge Flea Market is worth visiting. It's busiest on weekends and has vendors selling a range of interesting things. When you start shopping at a flea market, keep these tips in mind. First, remember that most items will be used, so carefully check the condition of anything you want. Also, most prices are negotiable. Don't be shy about asking the vendor for a cheaper price. They'll often expect you to. Done well, bargaining will get you an even better deal and can be addictive. Finally, have fun.
All right, we've gotten some history of the flea market. We know more clearly what they are. So now, the article says, so now you're interested in getting a great deal at a flea market. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are after reading it. If not getting a great deal, just seeing what kinds of deals are available. But here's the question, but where can you find such a place? As we mentioned earlier, they're not as common in Taiwan as they are in other countries, but they do have them. So we're going to tell you about that.
所以呢，我们现在如果很有兴趣去跳蚤市场买东西的话，但是你可以在哪里找到跳蚤市场呢？你对什么东西有兴趣？就是 be interested in something， 要记得是 ed 结尾，因为是你感到嘛。
All right, well, here we go. It says, well, if you have the opportunity to travel, there are some huge ones across the globe. Okay, first we're going to start with international flea markets. And yes, there are a lot of them across the globe. We could also say around the world. I think even in like downtown New York City and Manhattan, they have flea markets on the weekend. So almost anywhere you go, you will have an opportunity to check out a flea market, usually on the weekend. Let's talk about this word opportunity. An opportunity is basically a chance to do something, and also with this word comes the idea that it's a limited chance to do something. If you don't take this opportunity, grab this opportunity, seize this opportunity, it might go away in the future. So that's kind of the idea when someone says, hey, do you want to do this? And you can say yes or no, but you get the feeling that if I say no today, this chance, this opportunity might not be there tomorrow or in the future, because that's the thing with opportunities. Sometimes we have a limited time to take them, to grab them, to take advantage of them. For example, when Julia was given the opportunity to study ballet in New York City, she grabbed it.
Opportunity 就是机会，所以有什么机会去做什么，就是 to have the opportunity to do something。那它其实就是 chance 的比较高级的讲法。
Yeah, we also saw there that there are some huge flea markets in different parts of the world. Huge is just a word that means really big. Very, very, very big, okay? Compared to an ant, an elephant is a huge animal. Compared to Taiwan, Russia is a huge country. It's really, really big. That's just an adjective that's useful unless you want to say, it's really, 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 really big.
It's enormous.
It's enormous. It's gigantic. It's humongous. Or
humongous.
It's huge. For example, when those huge cargo ships come to Taiwan, you know those ones, they're so
the big ones.
They usually stop in either Kaohsiung or Keelung because they're so huge, they're so big.
Huge 就是巨大的、庞大的。那刚刚有讲到 the globe 就是这个世界、地球的意思。所以如果你有机会去旅行的话呀，其他国家地区有很大的跳蚤市场。So where do we start?
All right, here's a good one. It says, for example, Brimfield Flea Market in Massachusetts, US is a huge outdoor antiques flea market. That's a good place to start. I don't know about this one, but if it's a huge flea market, that means a lot of people go. And if it's in Massachusetts, it's probably near Boston.
Yeah.
Because that's the big city in Massachusetts. A lot of people live there. So there would be a lot of people who might want to visit a huge outdoor antiques flea market. And yeah, that's another feature of flea markets. We mentioned they're great places to find bargains, great places to find little treasures, but also they're usually on the weekend and they're usually outdoor, meaning they're outside. They're not in a building. It might be in a parking lot next to a building or something like that. But often flea markets are open air. We can also say open air flea markets. There would be no doors, no walls, no roof. So if it rains, it might not be such a good time to go. And I guess they probably don't have them during the winter months when it's icy and snowy. But on a beautiful spring or summer Sunday afternoon or something, a flea market is a great place to spend a few hours. Here we have an example sentence for the word outdoor, meaning outside and not in a building. Melanie wanted to have an outdoor wedding, and luckily for everyone, the weather was perfect that day, because having an outdoor wedding on a cloudy, rainy day is not so nice.
Yeah, so outdoor 就是户外的、露天的。所以其实在美国的麻州的这个 Brimfield， 它的跳蚤市场就是一个非常巨大的户外古董跳蚤市场。
All right, so that's a good one to go to and very, very large. But maybe you're not in North America. Maybe you're in Europe, or maybe you're even in France, and you went there to buy some puces, some fleas. No, you're just in the place they invented flea markets, but not in Paris. It says, for those of you who want something a little more European, try Lille in France. Okay, Lille is a big city in France, not in Paris, we should mention. Lille is the name of the place, but also in Lille. among many other great things. I'm sure they have a nice big flea market.
所以这个 European 就是欧洲的，那名词就是 Europe。所以想要更欧洲化的东西，你们可以试试看法国的 Lille 这个地方哦。
I'm thinking Lille in France might be a great place. Maybe you'd find French fashions, some old French costume jewelry.
French dresses.
But of course, buying books or music records in France might be a little harder because everything will be in French. And they'll have a million Edith Piaf songs. But if you're looking for, English pop music records, for example, they might not have those. So be warned, if you speak French, buy the book. If you don't, maybe not. And what is it called? It says the annual Grande Braderie de Lille is Europe's largest flea market with over 10,000 sellers and almost 2 million visitors each year.
Wow, that's a big one.
That's more than like big department stores would ever get, for sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Good place to go, though. Let's talk about this annual word. Yes, this word annual. If something is annual, it means it happens every year. That's all it means. We could also say yearly. So a yearly holiday or an annual holiday is a holiday that happens every year. Your birthday is an annual celebration of the day you were born. It doesn't happen every month. It doesn't happen every 5 years or every decade, every 10 years. No, your birthday is an annual event, as are Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day, Chinese New Year. They all happen once a year or annually. It's an annual thing. That's an adjective. Annually would be the adverb. And our example sentence for annual reads, the Oscar Awards are an annual event that started in 1929, and they happen every year.
Annual 就是一年一次，它就是 yearly， 所以如果是一年一次的活动 yearly event， 那一天比如说下来 daily 一天就是 daily routine， 那么 weekly 什么 weekly plan 或 monthly salary 这些都是可以的，所以一年一度这一个 how do you pronounce that?
I know, I'm waiting for you.
Non,
c'est pas ça. Grande Braderie de Lille. There you go. Very nice.
是欧洲最大的跳蚤市场，每年有超过1万名的卖家跟200万的游客，能想象吗？
And if you remember yesterday, you could also probably call it la grande marché aux puces. Flea market, right? You could probably just say marché aux puces. And people will be like, flea market? Yeah, where is it? And they'll point the direction. Anyways, this is big. That's the other thing about it. It'll probably be easy to find. As it says, it's plenty big enough to find anything. In other words, it's such a huge size that almost everybody will be able to find something that they're interested in. But if Boston, Massachusetts, or Lille in France are too far for you, we get it. So we've got a suggestion that is much easier to get to. For some local savings, New Taipei's Fuhe Bridge Flea Market is worth visiting. There you go, the Fuhe Bridge, which connects like Yonghe to Taipei.
Okay.
It's kind of down by Gongguan, down by Taida University. I think it's the bridge. It's one of those bridges down there. And it connects over the river into the south part of Taiwan, into New Taipei City there. That's a place worth visiting. It's definitely a place you want to check out, and you will find big savings there. A saving is an amount of something that you manage to save. All right, often when we see sales being advertised, they'll see huge savings, big summertime savings. In other words, you'll save money because the prices today or for this special thing are much lower than normal, giving you more savings. And you can also talk about the money that you have in the bank that you don't touch. Those are your savings. You're saving those to travel or buy a house or something in the future. For example, Gina got some big savings at that going out of business sale at the mall. Ooh. She bought a lot of cool stuff for a much lower price than normal giving her a lot of savings.
So plenty big, large, strong, etc. blah 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 这些什么 enough 就是足够大、强壮。你后面可以放一个形容词，因为 plenty 本身就是有丰富、充足的意思，所以我们常会说plenty of time, plenty of money， 都可以，就很多时间、很多钱。比如说we have plenty of time, no worries。那老师刚刚有讲到 saving 这边当名词，就是节省的钱，你省下来的钱。那什么东西是值得被干嘛的呢？就是 something is worth doing， 所以你可以说 this novel is definitely worth reading。 所以呢，这个跳蚤市场呢很大，你可以找到任何东西哦。如果想要节省一些费用，其实我们的新北福和 Bridge 福和桥的这个跳蚤市场，我们也可以去看看。
Now, the Fuha Bridge Flea Market, when is the best time to go? Well, like most flea markets, the weekend. It says it's busiest on weekends and has vendors selling a range of interesting things. So you might find a few people there on a weekday, but of course, weekdays, most people are at school or at work, so I would expect not to find much. But if you went on a Saturday or a Sunday, that's the time to go. That's when it's busiest, but also when you'll find the most selection from different, basically, salespeople or business people, vendors selling a range of interesting things.
Vendor 就是小贩或者摊贩，那 a range of something 就是一系列或各种的什么。那前面出现的 interested 我们有讲到是自己感到，但是这边是说跳蚤市场的东西很有兴趣。应该是很令人感到很有兴趣，所以我们才使用 interesting。所以这个跳蚤市场呢，在周末是最忙的时候，你可以找到很多很可爱、很有趣的东西。
All right, so next, now that you know where to go, next we're going to tell you how to be a smart flea market shopper. It says when you start shopping at a flea market, keep these tips in mind. In other words, listen up, because here comes some good advice about being a smart shopper at a flea market and giving you lots of savings. All right.
所以 to keep something in mind 就是牢记。So thank you for your advice, Mike. I'll keep it in mind.
You're welcome. What did I give you?
所以当你开始跳蚤市场购物的时候呢，要牢记以下这些诀窍。What's the first one?
All right. Well, first, remember that most items will be used. And yeah, there we could say first, keep in mind that most items will be used. You have to always know that, always think about that. It really is important. So remember that most things will be used, so carefully check the condition of anything you want, especially when it comes to things that can be damaged, like clothes or books or things like that. But even furniture, if you're buying a nice, beautiful silver picture frame or something, it could have damage and scratches and tarnish on it. And part of that is normal, but you also might decide, well, this is too damaged. I don't really want to pay it because it kind of looks old. It looks a bit broken. But everything will look like it's been used because it has been used. It's all secondhand.
Yeah. 当然被用过的东西一定会有一些瑕疵 So you gotta accept that before you purchase.
Exactly. And that's all about the condition of something. What is the condition of something? It's basically how good something is. When you look at it, when you're kind of judging it, something that is old will be in less good condition than something new. If you buy something new and open the box, you expect it to be in perfect condition, right? If you get something home that's brand new and you find a little cut or a little spot or a little scratch on it, you'll be very disappointed. But if it's something that's been used for 40 years and it still looks quite nice, well, then it's still in good condition. If it's in bad condition, you might have to fix it to make it look better, or you might just kind of say, no, it's kind of too old, too damaged. It's in such bad condition. Here's an example sentence. Are you sure you want to buy this sailboat? It looks like it's in pretty bad condition and it could even be dangerous. Oh yeah, if you buy a boat or a car or a vehicle, you want to have it in good condition.
Yeah, true. So condition 是状态或者是状况 You can also use it to talk about a person's body condition.
Their health,
是可以对他们的健康状况是可以。所以买这些二手产品呢，要注意哦，大多数都是二手的嘛，所以你们要仔细的检查你想要买的这个东西状况是怎么样的。
All right. Also, because you're in a flea market, it's a little bit different when it comes to buying things. It says also, most prices are negotiable. Okay, if you go to a store, they have a price tag on there and it doesn't really make any sense. It's not really a good use of your time to say, hey, can I pay you $10 less, $5 less, $3? No, that's the price. It's there. It's in the computer. I can't negotiate with you. When you negotiate, to use it as a verb, you basically not argue, but you have a discussion about the price. She might say 100, I say 50, she says 90, I say 60, and then we meet at 75. We found a happy price by having a discussion. That is a negotiation. That is us negotiating. And if it is something that you can negotiate about, we can use the adverb, it is negotiable, okay? Often when you sign a contract or something, you might talk about when do I have to pay you? How much do I have to pay you? Can we change the date on it a little bit? If it's not negotiable, well then, no, you have to do it this way. For example, the exact details of the agreement are still under negotiation. They're still discussing them and talking about them to try to find something that everyone is happy with, but it might require changing.
Yeah, 所以老师刚刚讲到的有讲到 negotiable 就是可以谈议的，那还有 negotiation negotiate 就是动词跟名词，大家要详记一下。那此外呢，大多数的价格都是可以协商，所以 don't be shy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a way to save even more money, right? If you see the price and you think, well, I can probably get it for a little bit less, then you can start negotiating. And you have to be a little confident, but don't feel that you're being rude because it's a flea market. This is sort of normal. It's different from buying something in a department store or a place like that. So it says, don't be shy or be confident about asking the vendor for a cheaper price. They'll often expect you to. So if you say, oh, it's $100, here's $100. They'll be, oh, okay, thanks. Because they're expecting you to go $60 and then they go $90 and you do that negotiating. So it's normal. Don't be afraid to do it. People kind of expect that thing.
所以呢，不要太害羞哦。其实你跟他们说哦，我想要杀价，其实他们也会通常希望你这么做，因为 because they know that you'll do bargains with them, so they'll usually make the prices higher.
Possibly.
Yeah, so 所以是正常的。
There you go. And another thing, of course, you can try to do is like, no, and you turn to walk away, and they might come back and go, wait, I'll give you an even better price. So sometimes it does take a little bit of acting, but it also takes confidence and the ability to just walk away from it. It says, done well, bargaining will get you an even better deal and can be addictive. A lot of people just love the bargaining or the negotiating. They just love that conversation. They love getting that special low price as much as they love this new thing that they had. And here's a good bit of advice at the end. Finally, have fun. Yeah, it's a flea market. It's not the stock market. You're not going to lose millions of dollars and ruin your life. You're going to go out and find some cool things and maybe get them at an extra low, extra special price. It's fun.
那我们赶快来看一下今天的 Language in Focus。So 分词构句呢是由两个主词相同的句子合并而来的，那它主要是要去将连接词带领的句子去简化，所以主词就不会再重复一次。比如说 I was stressed out, so I went to bed early. 那我可以改成 being stressed out, I went to bed early. Or you can also say stressed out, I went to bed early. 哇 addictive 这个字很棒，它就是使人入迷的，所以你对什么很上瘾，就是 addicted to something。比如说 the children are addicted to video games, which is quite bad。那 addiction 就是名词，也是代表说上瘾这件事情。所以如果你其实讨价还价好的话，你可以拿到更好的 deal， 然后还可以让你上瘾哦。最后 have fun。Enjoy your time at the flea market.
There you go. I think I'm already getting a little addicted to the idea of going to one. I'd love to go to one now.
Yeah.
We're going to be back with our chat questions, so don't go far.
You chat.
All right, our chat question is about, look at that, flea markets. What a surprise. Here's our question for you guys. Have you ever been to a flea market? And if not, would you like to visit one?
Okay, the last flea market I was at was one. Oh, I think I was like 8 years old. And I was the vendor.
You were the vendor?
Because, you know, my parents they used to work in a telecom company, so we have a lot of fake phones. And you know, kids are so in love with fake phones.
Yes.
So I just brought all of them and I just sold all of them.
Cool. And did you actually sell every single phone you came with?
Yes, because they were so happy about, oh my God, I'm going to have a phone. And they were so happy about it.
Okay, that's pretty high tech for a flea market. Certainly different from antique furniture or old clothes or something like that. I have been to a flea market. They're very popular in Canada.
Oh.
A lot of people love to collect antiques and old clothes and stuff like that. It's a very wonderful thing to do. I don't know about these days. I heard that old clothes are actually getting very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of new clothes are quite cheaply made. So people like the old clothes you might find in a flea market because they may be old, they may be, not so beautiful anymore, but they're good quality. We used to go to the Portobello Road Market in London many years ago. My parents loved that place, but they would always stop me from buying things because I always wanted to buy like fake things that I didn't know were fake.
Oh, okay.
I'd be like, hey mom, look at it, it's so cheap. And she'd be like, no, that's fake. You don't want to buy that. So you do need to be a bit of a smart shopper. But as long as you go with someone who knows what they're doing, or as long as you know a little bit about what you're buying, you can find great deals. And maybe you'll see us down at the Fuha market, because I think that sounds like a place. I think I can ride my bike there.
Oh,
I should ride my bike over on a weekend day. So yeah, maybe we'll see there. And if not, take yourself to a flea market if you can. You'll have a good time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Vocabulary Review. Opportunity. When Alice saw that her school was opening a new art class, she took the opportunity to join it. Huge. The box was so huge that we couldn't get it through the apartment door. Outdoor. There's always the chance that an outdoor event will be canceled if there's a lot of rain. Annual. The big annual office party usually happens every January, and all the workers attend. Saving. This store sells clothes at a cheaper price, so it's a great place to go for some savings. Condition. This dress is over 200 years old, but it's still in good condition because it has been stored carefully.
智慧小补帖
The globe. Vendor. Addictive.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net